This for my north side,
Kiara,
south side,
Kiara,
east end,
Kiara,
west end,
Kiara,
for my H-town,
Kiara,
Seafield,
Kiara,
804,
Kiara,
we them real
Kiara.
niggas, yeah. 2 up, 2 down, rich town. 2 up, 2 down, rich town. 2 up, 2 down, rich town.
It's the Kiara Lee Show.
Rich town.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Kiara Lee Show. I'm Kiara Lee, and today's episode is called Men 101. And I asked women around Richmond to submit questions for a panel of men who we're about to meet, any and everything, just to crack the male code, so to speak. And now I'm going to turn it over to our two panelists. You can get to know them a little better real quick.
I'm Joshua, and I'm a founder and speaker of Forever Grace Ministries and upcoming author of I'm a Product of Grace.
Hi, Richmond. My name is Theodore. From the Richmond area. What could I say? Just a single father trying to make it.
Okay, well, let's get right to our questions. Our first question is from Keisha, and she asked, what do you find to be the most attractive trait in a woman?
Question.
That's a good question. I have to say, for me, being married is my wife supportive, always have my back, and to me, there's nothing greater than that. Something I always look forward to, and everything I get my hands onto.
Yeah, I agree with the support, but I would say probably ambition. I want to know what you're going to do in about 10, 20 years from now, how you're going to get there, and what your dreams are going to be. So I would say ambition.
Okay. So you hear that, ladies? Support and ambition, what men are looking for these days, if you didn't know. Our next question is about makeup. Makeup, your thoughts on women wearing makeup. Is it good? Is it bad? Is there such thing as too little, too much? What do y'all think?
Go ahead, man.
I'm a fan of the no makeup. I don't know, you can look like a clown, or you can look tasteful. I've seen women that wear entirely too much makeup. So, I mean, yeah, I believe there can be a tad bit too much. And I don't think there's any time where it can be too little. Natural is always beautiful to me.
Yeah, I have to agree. I love when my wife does put makeup on. It's nice, it's different. It always kind of throws a spin, but I'm never a fan of too much makeup. But I have to say, waking up next to her every day with no makeup, it's probably the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And, I find that so attractive.
Oh, that's good. So do y'all ever feel like, what about women who wear makeup to try to cover blemishes, or got a little bump, they're trying to cover it right quick, trying to pat it down?
Why hide it?
Yeah, why hide it? It's you. I mean, it's a blemish. We all have blemishes. I mean, we don't go and put makeup anytime we have a pimple on our face.
Yeah, we can't do that.
We can't do that. So, I mean, there's no point hiding it. It's who you are. It's part of you. And when you love somebody, you love everything, the good or bad.
Including the pimples and the blackheads and everything
All
else.
of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
That's good. That's good, y'all. Okay, this is a question from Christina. This is a long one. My husband and I have been married for a while now. I want kids, but he doesn't. He says that I'm not ready. I value my husband's opinion, but I feel that I'm ready. What do I do? Ooh.
Well, I'll probably take that one because me and my wife were like that at first. She kind of wanted to have kids right away, and so it was like, let's wait a year, in our marriage. And, it's, I would say, suggesting just pray. Be supportive, and just pray and just know that it's going to be taken care of. And eventually he will come around to, he does want kids. It happens. Everything's always timing. And I think for him it's probably just a timing issue. He still feel like he can't do some of the things he can't do once he has kids. And I could tell you, we're both dads, that you still do the things you want, that you do want to do. It's just, you have to think more about it ahead of time and stuff. So
I agree. I mean, I'm not married just yet, but I feel as though if the person that I wanted to be my wife was ready for children, we didn't have any, and I wasn't ready, I think she would have to respect the fact that I want to wait, because there's reasons behind me wanting to wait. I mean, what if I was trying to better our future first, or I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. So I mean, yeah, like he said, I would definitely pray on it and give it to God first and basically wait for his response. Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a big step. You know what I'm saying? You both want to be sure before you do that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
and it never hurts just to ask him why. Why does he want kids? And I think that's the biggest thing is we always never ask the question why. Never, okay, you assume that he doesn't want kids, but why? And just asking, having that conversation will help you to clarify for yourself. And you can tell him why you would like to have kids, why you want to have a child now and not later. And just, it's communication between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the question, she's saying that her husband feels like that she's not ready. What do y'all think about that? Him telling her that she's not ready. Do you think that's overstepping it, or do you think that's how it should be in a marriage? Or
well, I don't. I mean, because when you're with someone, you know them. So I mean, whether or not she's not mature enough yet, maybe financially stable enough, there's a lot of things that go into having children. So I mean, maybe he wants to better know her or get to know her as a wife before they have children, and he feels as though she's not ready for that responsibility just yet. I mean, I don't think it's anything wrong as long as he's respecting her in a way, like he's not telling her, no, we're not going to have children, or as long as, like he said, the conversation is open and they talk about it. But I mean, we all feel like that. I mean, the mate that you're with, you can determine whether or not you want to have a child with them right away or when or if ever. So I mean, I don't feel anything's wrong with it, me personally.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think though maybe he needs to explain why. Because men and women think differently.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not that she can't be a mom. She's not ready to be a mom. I think all women have that in them that they can be. He may be just looking at financial, you know, maybe I want to get to know you more. You know, there's different things, and it just doesn't never hurt just to ask him, why don't you feel like I'm ready? And it never hurts, because guys are going to be think differently than the women. So.
okay. Our next question is from Sade, and she says, my baby's father has not been a stand-up dad. He refuses to play an active part in our son's life. For my son's sake, do I need to play mommy and daddy, or should I be looking for another man to take his father's place? Ooh, this is a big one.
I'll touch on that. I'm gonna say this, you should never look for another person to be the father of your child if the father is trying to be the father. Even if he's not. I can say that because I've been on both sides of the fence. What I mean by that is basically, I was in a relationship. I have an older son who's 6 years old, and I was in his life every day. Me and his mother didn't work out, so I wasn't there every day. So I mean, it's really dependent on the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just force somebody else to come in and take a father's position. That's not something that you want to do for the child. The child will grow up confused. Now, if the father's not around, or he really doesn't want anything to do with his child, then by all means, you know what I'm saying, that he needs that, or she needs that father figure. But you don't take that away from a father. You don't take that right away.
Man, I would say, you know, if he's not willing to play, this show will still be open door. I think everybody has a second chance. I mean, if he doesn't step up now, then you can't say that he doesn't want to later. You don't know what he's going through in his head and stuff. So, you know, you should always have the door. But as for trying to find somebody else, you know, that's where it comes in to say, God has me. God will show me what it takes to be a dad, to, you know, what he needs. You don't need to just go out and find somebody that, you know, just so that they can be a dad to him. That's just not what you should do. You know, sit back and chill and just wait. Pray on him. Ask God just to show you what you need to be as a mother and father right now to your child. I think at that point, I think it's probably one of the best things to do, not to just jump out there and find somebody else.
Play the mommy and daddy role. My mom's did that. She raised me. My dad wasn't always around, so she was both of my parents. You know what I mean? So I mean, she never put a man in front of my father. You know what I'm saying? I knew who my father was, and she made sure that I knew him even when I didn't see him. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, she was both. So I would say go with be a mommy and daddy.
Yeah, it never hurts down the road if she finds somebody who is a good father figure. To be stepdad. There's great stepdads out there. Don't get me wrong, but they don't never take the fully place of a real father. So that father should always have a door, and no matter what, and you know, there is great stepfathers though. Just don't want to shy straight from that. If she down the road does see somebody and it's like, you can't be a father. No, they can be. There's great ones out there. I have fathers who are not my father, who are great mentors and stuff like that as well. So, yeah.
So what about the son? What about the little boy that's never met their father ever? Doesn't know him, doesn't know his name. Do you think it's fair for that child to continue to wait on him to come back in his life, or wait on this door? Or perhaps do you think it's better for them to find a mentor, maybe not a replacement per se, but I'm just trying to get at the child that's never seen or heard from their father. Is it fair for them to have to wait on that possibility?
It's not fair for you to for anyone to miss out on a father figure, because everyone needs that. So if there's a child out there who's never seen their father, doesn't know anything about their father, then by all means, if there's some positive people around them, that's men, that's doing the right thing in their lives, by all means, be in that child's life. Yeah. So I don't feel like the child should miss out because of that, because it wasn't the child's fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. And as the mother, she her job is to find mentors. And, you know, it could be anybody. You can choose anybody. I mean, in the sense, anybody who is having positive influence, who is doing things right, or in a sense, who's looking to God for their stuff, and that can be a positive influence on that child. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, just know that they don't take the place as a real father. That just let the child know, her son know that your father is still always there. He's just not here right now. Okay. I think, yeah.
Very good points you guys are bringing up. Michaela has a question. How do you feel about women with a rocky past? Can the past define the future in a relationship?
When you say rocky, what do you mean?
Well, it's just the questions. I guess she means like a past you're not necessarily happy with, I guess, by rocky. Turbulent past.
I think you can judge anybody from their past, but I mean, you can change how your future is going to be at any time. So I mean, you have people that had crazy lifestyles that they come from, you know what I'm saying? But they've changed their life all the way around. So I mean, you can't really judge a person based on their past, but their present, where they're trying to go, you know what I'm saying, what they're trying to do. Because we all have crazy past. I mean, I know I do.
Do you feel like the past affects the present or the future at all, though, even if it's a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, it all determines. I mean, because the past can help you in the future to not make the same mistakes that you made. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it has both types of, I guess, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I guess influences on your present and your future. I mean, you can have a bad past and it can teach you how to have a good future, and vice versa. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that makes much sense, but.
Man, I can tell you, if you're looking for a woman who does not have a rocky past, you're never gonna find one. I mean, just be honest. I mean, everybody has, like you said, has a rocky past. Everybody has that. I mean, when I met my wife, even she seems so perfect on the outside, but she's not. I mean, there's some things that's happened that a lot of people don't know about, and of course, I got to know. But the interesting part is that I was more in bad shape than she was when we first met and went on first date. So it's kind of, your past doesn't define your future, God does. And so if you look at that, anybody can change. Anybody can change. It's just, if you're looking for that perfect person, you're not gonna find them. And it's about loving that person no matter who they are and what they've done, and sticking to them even when things don't look great. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things.
So for the female that is afraid to date or afraid to get into a relationship because of her past, you know, maybe she's ashamed of some things that have happened, or she's afraid that the past is going to repeat themselves, like someone that's just on hold from their past. What advice would you give her as far as dating, as far as getting into a relationship, as far as herself?
Breathe. First off, you gotta live, because life is too short, man. You know what I mean? You can't just victimize yourself because of where you've been. I mean, you can change how, like I said before, you can change how your future is going to be by not making the same mistakes. So if it's a certain type of guy that you're attracted to, figure out what that trait is so that you don't attract those men later. You know what I'm saying? If it's a certain lifestyle that you're living, or that you've lived, stop living that lifestyle. Change who you are. I mean, most of the time it's lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Between being out there or just being refined, I mean, live, man, breathe. I'm learning every day that you have to breathe. Life is too short, man.
Yeah, I just say let it go. Just let it go. If you're looking for somebody who's not gonna hurt you, then that's just a fairy tale, because no matter who you're gonna be with, you hurt. My wife, me and her, we fight at times. We get in arguments. We hurt each other's feelings, but like I said, it's all about loving that person through, even though they may hurt you or you hurt them. And it's just, you have to get over that part. And just, I think sometimes the biggest thing we have is trust. Most women have the trust issue, and you have to kind of get over that. You have to say, you know what, I always refer back to my relationship with Christ. You know, at the point, I was nothing, but he gave me his all. And so in a sense, I do the same thing. She may not be giving me everything, but you know what, I'm gonna give my all to her. And it's just a choice. It's all a choice about it, so yeah.
Some very good advice that these two young men are giving. I hope you all are listening up. You brought up a good point about being guarded. I know so many females who are guarded with their feelings because they think they're not going to get hurt, they'll be safe this way. You know, a lot of people do that. Men and women do it.
Yep.
What do you guys have to say about that, about being guarded? Is there such thing as being a little guarded to be safe? Is there such thing as being too guarded? Should you not be guarded at all with your feelings? Where does that come into play?
This is ironic because I'm actually kind of going through this at the moment. I'll let you speak first.
Well, I mean, your feelings are going. When you put yourself out there, you're going to get hurt. If you don't put yourself out there, you're going to get hurt because you're going to miss out. So if he said life is too short, in a sense, your time on this earth is too short. You need to go. You have to put yourself out there. No matter what, you put yourself out there in so many different ways than just a relationship, and yet you're not afraid to get hurt in those areas. Your feelings, you have to put your feelings out there. It's going to get crushed, but we're not defined by how we feel, and I think that's the most important thing. It's not your feelings that determine your future; it's your choices. And it's like, okay, I can look past what I feel and to move forward. And I think that sometimes we get kind of hung up on that. I don't feel like loving this person, but you can still choose to love, and I think that's the biggest thing.
I agree. I mean, being scared to love or having that guard up, it's not gonna do anything but hurt you in the end. I mean, good or bad, you're not gonna know how hard you can love, or I don't know. I feel like it's two different angles too. Like he said, basically, if you don't have your guard up, then you're gonna miss out. If you do, then same thing. I mean. It's ironic because I'm actually going through this within my relationship now, and I feel as though sometimes my girlfriend has her guards up a little bit too much because of her past. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, on this side of things, I feel like I'm missing out a little bit of her because I don't get all of her because of what she's been through. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trying to explain to her, like, bring your guards down a little bit so I can see more of you. You know what I mean? Because it's hurting me a little bit. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, to me, it's, you know, it's something we kind of go through, you know, in our marriage, and you know, when she does it to me, I just love her. You know, I know love always softens a heart and heart. And that's what you have. You have a heart and heart. You don't want to give, and you know, the best thing you can ever do is give. And so if you want to continue to give to that person, you'll see it bring it down, like for your situation. You know, but you do have to put yourself out there. You can't always just be all about you, because it's not about you. True. It's not about you at all. And I think that's one of the things we miss out on. That's where our feelings get caught up in thinking it's about us.
Okay. The next question is from Tina. How do you men know when she's the one?
Well, I can always say from my perspective is that it's funny, because at our first night that or our first date, I knew that was the person I was going to marry. But see, it has more significance than just that, because for me, it was that at that moment, that's when Christ found me. And I knew what God was doing through her to find me. And I just knew that. And it's funny because then I went and asked God, is this the woman for me? And of course he said yes, and it's funny because how everything just lined up. And that to me is just, God set it up, and I knew that. It wasn't me trying to manufacture, because for so long I tried to manufacture my own stuff. I don't know how many times I tried to propose to women, thinking, trying to make them the one. And it was when God did it for me, and that's how I knew. So, yeah.
I feel like for me, I'm not married just yet. I feel like I will be though within the next few years to the person that I'm with, and I feel like she's the one because she betters me. Mm-hmm. Everything about her makes me better, and I feel like that's the key. Like if you don't want to do the things that you used to do anymore because you're with the person that you're with now, she's the one. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I always told her, like, if you can close your eyes and still see that person's face, that's the one. That's just my little thing that I say.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so our next question is a long one from Jordan, and she says, it's been reported that Will Smith and his wife Jada Pinkett Smith have an open marriage, meaning they both hook up with other people. What do you think about this?
It's not the best thing. A marriage is between one man, one woman, and that's it. Marriage is sacred, and if you don't hold to that, you won't get it. To me, it's kind of crazy because it's funny where your heart goes is where you will follow, and they're no longer in that sense. They're not looking at each other. They're trying to look at what they can get outside, and to me, it's so beautiful to have what you have inside. God at the center, and y'all two joined together, and they say, better you. She's like my perfect helper. We help each other. We support each other. One falls down, one person lifts up. And if you don't treat it, if you're looking outside, you'll never have that within. And I think we just kind of missed that point. We think that we're always going to find something better on the outside when the better is right there with you.
I think people are scared to just accept what they have. I mean, I agree with everything he just said. I'm not really into the swinging thing, but I kind of understand why people do it a little bit for the simple fact that they have open relationships, so it's nothing to really just break up them, or to break them up. Like, if you aren't worried about the next person, and it's okay for you to go out, and do what you want to do, then there's no type of fear of losing that person. Me personally, I'm not trying to have 4 or 5 wives. That's not cool. I don't want her to have 4 or 5 husbands either. I don't think I could mentally be able to take that. But I don't know. I understand a little bit of why people do it, but it's not for me. And I don't feel like biblically that's what God really wants us to do. I mean, like he said, it's monogamy, fidelity. Like, you have to be with that one person. You can't be with the whole world and be okay. Like,
yeah, I just think people get scared because they feel like they're missing out.
Yeah.
And if you have that mentality, you're missing out with what your marriage is. And that's what you're missing out if you're thinking that like that. So, stay with your wife, stay with your husband. Even if it doesn't look good, just stay with them. That's the best thing. And if you trust that and know that everything's gonna get better, so you're not gonna miss out, for sure.
Okay. I hear a lot. I've heard a lot of buzz about this topic with them. Because they've been married for so long, and people justify it like, well, they've been married for, I don't know how many years they've been married. But
like 10 years.
Yeah, something like that. They've been married for X amount of time, so it must work. How do you guys feel about that? And this is a high-profile couple. Yeah. They've been married for a long time, known each other for a long time. And people see, they haven't broken up. They've stuck together, so to speak. Yeah. And so people tend to justify swinging or open marriages with that. Like, well, that's what's holding it together. That's what's making it last so long. What do y'all feel about that?
I would say you're just looking at the surface. You have no idea what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what's going on, really. You really don't know what the effects are of it until you're actually in it. And that's the biggest part. Everybody can put on a happy face, but you have no idea what's going on the inside. And I think that's one of the biggest things. We assume that they're having a happy marriage, but who says they don't? Just because they're out in public and they look happy. There's a difference between looking happy and actually being happy. And so, yeah.
I would say we don't really know that they are actually swinging either. I mean, it is gossip, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can, if you're if you have an open relationship and you have multiple partners, who's to say that you're really happy with the person that you're married to? I mean, you could just be with whoever you're with. And that's the key of it, right? To be with everyone. So, I mean, you're swinging with different couples. I mean, why get a divorce? It's not like you have to. You don't have to stay at home with your husband or your wife. So, I mean, I don't know. I frown. It's not a good look.
No, it's not the best thing. I mean, I enjoy being with my wife. I love my wife, and it's funny because there was a time when I wasn't working. I spent every single day with her, and I was so happy.
That's good. That's good. One more question on that. How do you feel when someone says like, "Oh yeah, we do that. We see other people, but I still love her. I still love him." Can you still love one person and see other people? Let's crack this code, because I've been wondering this too. I hear about it a lot, and I'm like,
if you really love that person, you wouldn't be out seeing other people. Point blank. I mean, you can love multiple people, but it's different when you have, as a man and a woman, and you have a relationship. It's a totally different type of love. And if you really love that person, you wouldn't be out trying to find it from other things from other people. You would find it there, even if it's not there. You're looking at God in that person too. So
I agree, but I do feel like there's a difference between being in love and loving someone. Like, you can love friends and people that you might have used to be with, you know what I'm saying? But being in love with that one person, if you're in love with that person, you're not going to be out searching for someone else. That's not going to happen.
okay.
There's no need.
Okay. And we've got a few minutes left, and I just want to ask you guys, what advice in general would you just give women as far as dating, as far as relationships? Just any general last words you'd like to say to the audience?
I would say just, don't have your guard up. Be open and allow God to just lead you. I think that's the most important thing.
I think women should talk to their men like we're having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
A lot of women have these questions because they don't voice them to their men or to men, period. So, I mean, I would say just be more boisterous with the opposite sex so that you have more information, that you know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to love. Get out there and live. Like I said before, just breathe. Live life. It's too short, man.
Amen.
Okay. Well, some great advice that these two have given you all, and I hope you've been listening closely because they had some very insightful things to say. And I just thank you two for being here, and thank you for talking to the ladies and answering these questions, because like you said, sometimes it's hard for us to talk about these things with the opposite sex, and we have these questions bottled in, but like both of you said, it's good to talk about it.
Correct.
So I thank you all for being on here to open this conversation. And that's it for this episode of the Kiara Lee Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next week. Thank you. Have a good day.
This for my north side,
Kiara.
south side,
Kiara.
east end,
Kiara.
west end,
Kiara.
on my H-town,
Kiara.
Seafield,
Kiara.
804,
Kiara.
we them real
Kiara.
niggas, yeah. 2 up, 2 down, rich town. 2 up, 2 down, rich town. 2 up, 2 down, rich town,
It's the Kiara Lee Show.
rich town.